Next up, we have a panel discussion on cloud HR, flexibility and scalability for a hybrid workforce. As organizations embrace hybrid work models, cloud-based HR solutions are redefining agility and efficiency and how organizations operate. Let's welcome our distinguished panelists to the stage to explore how cloud technology is shaping the future of workforce management. For the same, I would like to invite on stage Gaurav Saini, CHRO Wadhwani Foundation. Please welcome him with a round of applause. Do we have him here? Abhishek Gupta, VP, Head, HR, Zebpay. And Preeti Mathur, Director, Culture and People Experience, Ensono. Welcome back, ma'am. To moderate the session, I would like to invite on stage Rajneesh, Editor, APAC Media. Please welcome everyone with a round of applause.
Good afternoon to everyone again. We have a very pertinent panel discussion on cloud HR, which is now more or less hygiene across organizations. But while managing hybrid workforce in today's environment, cloud HR is more or less an accepted norm. So what I would like to start, and I would like to go to each of the panelists with that. One, how do you think cloud HR has transformed today's hybrid workforce? How has it ensured a more or less seamless kind of experience for the employees? But before that, more fundamental question, the nature of the hybrid workforce itself. How has it evolved, especially in the last 3-4 years? Because COVID has been a game changer in terms of the nature and profile of the hybrid workforce itself. So I would like if you can briefly explain or outline the nature of evolution of the hybrid workforce itself, and how has HR cloud sort of catered to that workforce so that everyone, whatever environment or whatever position he or she is working, has a very seamless kind of experience. And maybe I'd like to also add, now each sector, and you represent different sectors, each has their own regulations and laws. So when you are talking about this hybrid workforce using HR cloud, how do you comply with those regulations? How do you ensure the security? That's more from the technology aspect, because it's a more heterogeneous kind of environment. So broadly, these are the areas where I would like to understand each of your experience, and I'll start with you, Gaurav.
Thank you. So when this hybrid work culture comes, so one thing I want to share. So it's basically a incident. We asked our people that, do you guys want to return to work back in office? You'll not believe that 90% of the people said yes, we want to. But the next line, you'll be surprised that they never wanted to come back at the same time with other people, and definitely not on Mondays. So that is the true picture of hybrid culture, what we call it today. Yes, we want to come back to work, not at the same time. Somebody come on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursday, but definitely not on Mondays. So this is what I normally tell my people as well. So coming to your point on the hybrid, it's, I think, a necessity now. It's a pain for the employees and the HR. And they have got into a situation where they can't pull it out also, and they can't live with that also. This is a situation, it's a truth of life today. And I'm not sure how the situation will shape up, but definitely it is not going to remain the same what it is today. Now the second point on the hybrid, which is like your cloud HR and all, I think this has been there for a long period of time. And this is a hygiene factor according to me. You cannot live without it today. whether you are hybrid or maybe a 6-day working, or maybe in factory environment also where it was supposed to be on the lowest format, still it is coming up, right? So our organization is a highly AI driven organization. We work on the AI solutions globally. The one thing which I can tell you is that it has reduced, when we talk about HR perspective, it has reduced the presence of HR. The cloud HR has reduced the presence of HR at every location. That's one advantage. So now my team works out of India, catering all global countries on through the cloud HR solutions. So that is one part which is a very good thing which cloud HR has brought in, right? So I'll reserve my comments here, umding ways, but it is a necessity to wind up on this question, and you cannot live without it today. But it's like if you have an app which is helping you for recruitment, or it's an app which is helping you for your expenses, or it is an app which is helping you for leave data management, and you have different apps or different cloud solutions for it, then I think you have to think through this. You have different remotes for one TV. Think like that. So you need to think about it. You need to have a one remote for one TV when you are having a cloud HR solution with you, and think about that.
Okay, great. So before I'll put the same question to you, Abhishek, just couple of riders. What Gaurav mentioned, one important thing regarding the hybrid work culture was the flexibility. That has got added. There was a certain amount of rigidity earlier, which is completely flexible now. I don't want to come on Mondays. I want to come whenever I feel like there cannot be. Yes, that's also a human nature, perhaps. So, new paradigm in work-life balance, if I may say, that flexibility is one part, and the other part, if I may understand what he concluded, was there is a debate between a typical workforce in an organization will be extremely heterogeneous. But now you are trying to achieve a level of homogeneity within this through these cloud HR solutions. So, keeping these two things in mind, what would you like to comment on?
I think I've been lucky enough to, because I work for a startup at the moment. I'm working with different companies in my career, and those are the companies who already had these kind of solutions. This is the first time when I worked for this startup, and this startup, I got a chance to implement the entire system from the very beginning. So while for a lot of us, it looks like a hygiene requirement, we were, at the earliest time, we were using Excels for managing the performances and all that stuff. Now that we have already shifted to a cloud HR platform, which is actually giving us a great advantages, right? For me, it's like moving from paper maps to GPS. Like you're much better placed. You're much better placed at navigation different routes. We are hybrid. We are a hybrid setup. We were a total remote setup once upon a time, and now we are a hybrid setup. Different cities, different even a couple of countries also that are few of our employees are there particularly. So what cloud HR particularly helped in my setup is giving that kind of sense of solidarity, homogeneity, and everyone is equal kind of stuff for in that system. Meaning by cloud HR is helping us to make sure that people feel that I am part of the system. While let's say a couple of people who are based out of country, right? For example, a couple of people who are based out of city which has a very low population for my company. Now they also feel that they get every insight in the real time basis. This is very, very important, right? All the performance milestones, all the hygiene attendance stuff, and while we don't have an attendance per se, but all these kind of things that reaches to them the real time basis. So it's not like that the people who are in Delhi or people who are in Mumbai are at some sort of advantage because I am based out of Ahmedabad, something on those sorts. So all this flexibility and scalability, the system helped me. And I, to be pretty honest for the population as well here, I saw those challenges when you move on to a system from a legacy Excel sheets and all that stuff. Even if people who are and I have a young population because that's a startup anyway, but still people have that kind of a inertia, right, to change. And that's very, very important. How do we as an HR professionals or as a custodian of that process, we challenge that inertia, and we make sure that people are easily, comfortably placed when you sort of move to that place.
So that's give me a question actually, and you can answer that also.
Sure.
So Preeti, you want to do that and answer it here also. How many of you are kind of using cloud HR? Any HR solution? Raise your hand, please. You have it? How many of you have given up the Excel sheet formats in HR? You will realize this soon. That will come back there. That's a problem which we need to maybe as a panel also. Only my thing is that one way of is how do we use that HR, cloud HR as a solution, and is it giving us the right thing? Maybe you have chosen the right one. That might, but in my lifetime, when I started the PeopleSoft in Hewitt, we were like the pioneers there in 2007-8. Till now, I've not found a solution where I can get away with any Excel formats today. Even like parallel HR is using, and it's the truth of life. So I always work on truth of life. No one in the world has given me a solution in cloud HR where I can get totally automated. So that's one. Yeah.
While this is interesting because right now we just completed our calibration on the system itself. So at least I'm being lucky in that way. But yes, I can name it probably offline because they are not paying me. If they pay me, then I can name it public. But that's one of the good solutions. But what I believe particularly, and Gaurav has rightly mentioned, I think a lot of challenges, but what I personally believe, is that whenever you are making a change, and sometimes I feel that we in HR, we sort of become very harsh on us. Like in a normal way, whenever you are asking your parents, your family members, your friends to do something or change something to some other regime, it's very simple. You show it the person that where's the money. I mean, in the language you say it, what's in for me? Like, and that's where I belong. I feel, and being worked with different companies, big companies, small companies, I think two things that really helped me in my journey is when I will be able to show the person in front of me is what's in it for him, and also the blessings from leadership, the secure, the buy-in from the leadership. Because if leadership is not bought in particularly, because sometimes we do in HR, हम अपनी भी कुछ चीजें करने की कोशिश, because we are also head of HR, so CHRO sitting there, and we believe that यार पूछना क्या है इसमें, ये तो हम भी कर लेंगे. So this is what really helped me. And right now, slowly, all the processes that I am taking it to the cloud HR per se. And till now, I had a fair amount of success. Obviously, there were challenges, but yes, I was lucky to sort of handle that.
Okay, great. So obviously the last point is critical. You need to have a sort of a management buy-in. Otherwise, like no implementation, not just cloud HR, no implementation will work. And regarding Excel, it's not just cloud HR. All very evolved finance packages, accounting software, whatever you use, end of the day, Excel is still a must in every laptop. Great. I'll come to you, Preeti. On the same question, and typically in terms of how has cloud HR benefited you in your experience with different organizations?
Cloud HR is the way.
And one more thing, since as per your designation also, I would like to understand this hybrid workforce nature and the culture when we talk about. See, one of the perceptions when this hybrid workforce thing became mainstream in India was unlike the Western culture where, if I may harshly use, the family life thing is little isolated kind of. Here in India, you are too engrossed. That's a culture, by culture. So when you are working from home, you might engrossed, you need to go out and buy something or so, but that barrier has been surpassed now. So how has that evolution taken place? And regarding cloud HR, what has been your experience?
So cloud HR is the way. I think in every organization today, whether they are startup or mid-size, large size, everybody is getting into it for the simple reason that it can be used from across the globe. So we have, as HRs, evolved by not picking just what is available in the current market, but looking at the global market and picking people of diverse skills from across the globe. And Cloud HR is playing a very vital role there because they allow us to operate from anywhere. And it, how much ever you talk about Excel sheets, yes, but I think Excel sheet is like a bed where we are comfortable, I would say. But if you look at Cloud HR today, the kind of data that it can generate, you can just mix and match the fields and you can get enormous amount of information from there. If somebody is really getting into technology and Cloud HR, then this is the way. I think the more and more we get into it, you will feel the same ease as you feel with Excel. Of course, Excel is not going anywhere, but the ease comes from there. Now, talking about one of the flexibility questions that you had, if you look at Ensono today, from where I'm working, we have people who are working from all geographies, working in different varied skills, because we're a hardcore technology organization. And I've noticed that the attrition in the industry is about 14%. But if you look at Ensono's attrition, we are at 7%. And the reason for this is only because we are cloud. Everything is to do with cloud. So we're giving the people the flexibility to work from wherever they are. We're giving them the flexibility to operate in different time zones, in different geographies. And this is also the reason where we're easily able to get skills. We're able to attract the right talent, and we're able to see a lot of change, a quick scale up that we are doing. When you talk about scaling up, the quick scale up is possible only because we are adapting to the changes. So today there's something new coming in terms of technology, we're right there, right? We're picking up very fast, and that is the reason we're not just focusing on the FTs, the so-called permanent roles. We're also having roles which are contingent in different forms. So I think both flexibility and scalability has played a vital role in attracting the right talent for us, bringing down the attrition. And of course, we have robust systems that keep our culture also upright. So we're doing all of the things which is required in today's scenario to adopt and move ahead.
So your focus has been obviously on the flexibility and scalability part. And I'll say more the operational outcome. You would say the outcome has been lowering the attrition rate successfully. Great. Before I had originally planned the next question to ask each panelist about the strategic and operational thing, but something came up to my mind with the answers all three of you gave. And Abhishek mentioned something, the management asking, show me the money, where the money is in this. So when all organizations are adopting some sort of cloud HR solution, it can be a third-party package or it can be an in-house solution, whatever be it. That's the technicalities. Typically, HR has always been a cost center for an organization. Has there been a move or a transformation? I'm not saying fully become a profit center, that might not be feasible yet, but to an extent, when we are talking about a cloud HR solution, there are modules and things which can be commercialized, and HR itself can become a profit center. I'm keeping this open, anyone.
So I think a very good question. So scaling HR in this current environment, in the hybrid environment, is upgrading your flight mid-air.
Okay.
Imagine. So hybrid is very complex, and it's not complex due to the distributed workforce. It is also complex that it is taking a toll on the culture building.
Okay.
And culture building doesn't happen only with the videos or the amount of content you're giving to the people through any kind of tool. The culture building happens with the interactions you have with the people and the experiences they have together. That is taking a toll today. barring any organization which has been existed before COVID, they are struggling with that. Post any organization they have built up this thing, they are struggling with a binding there for the people that what is our culture. That's one challenge. So it is very important, and this is also a priority for the senior management now.
Okay.
Right? It's becoming that what is define my culture? What should I be doing for that? Second part is with the experience hiring, we are moving to skill-based hiring. It used to be like that I want to hire a person who is experienced 15 years in this particular domain or particular experience. I am moving that how skilled this person is or worked how deeply in this kind of project. We are moving from that experience to skilling based thing. That's the second anecdotal. The third is the culture was on the overall thing. Second is on the talent. And the third aspect which Preeti also touched on is the attrition number. Because my replacement of my talent has to also happen nowadays because the technology and everything is changing very fast. But I need to also retain the right talent which is there so that I don't lose on my edge there. Looking at these 2 or 3 anecdotal points, HR is becoming very important and is in the CEO's mind. Because your business is moving with these 3 or 4 directions.
And the third thing that you mentioned, that can be measured now. Increasing
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So then you need tools like cloud HR, you need tools other than that. But putting HR into the front desk or a front in the mind of the top management, I think there are some things which COVID has brought in a good challenge, I would say, for HR. Because earlier we were just using some technology tools, and maybe we discuss the future of cloud HR also, and I can speak more about it. But I think HR is not a cost center or considered as a cost center anymore. Whether you have this L&D, anything also which is your tools or any content you're buying from outside, it is nowhere considered as a cost center. Nowhere. Unless and until you have traditional organizations where they think that this has to work in a particular way, that's something there. But they still, there also they focus on hiring a lot rather than building a culture there. Okay. So there they also don't consider for hiring maybe a talent acquisition part as a cost center. They want to put in more efforts there. So I pause there.
To Gaurav's point on culture, which is very true, once you are flexible and scalable, culture is a difficult thing to manage. And the way I think the challenge, first of all, coming to the challenge, is where the managers themselves need to be skilled on how to manage a flexible workforce. They are so used to and tuned to managing people in office. Sometimes they miss the finer aspects of, what are the difficulties people might have when they're working remote. And that is where HR plays a very vital role on how they train and skill managers. How do they coach these managers to really take up, roles like how do they evaluate people? How do they judge somebody's productivity? What are the kind of measurements they apply to meet, to check the goals, right? So these are the challenges that we have, and how much HR is enabled today? Not really. I think it takes a lot of effort to for HR itself to come to that level, right? So it's a very difficult thing.
To add this point, one more. Flexibility has 2 parameters today. It's anywhere and anytime. So we are trying to discuss, and most of the time in the hybrid work culture, we are trying to discuss only or sort out anywhere aspect of flexibility. Flexibility has any time aspect also today. That I want to work as per my wish anytime. So that flexibility has 2 angles, which is also taking a toll on building up that cohesiveness and the strength what we need to bring to the society or to the organization. So 2 aspects, anywhere, anytime. So this is also complex. It's not easy to solve.
That's both of you, what you have said, 2 important things have come out. Obviously, the anywhere, anytime, and the HR themselves need to evolve. It's not just if the HR remains, so the nature of the KPIs and the KRAs have also changed. whatever the measurable parameters were there for that. So great. Abhishek, you would like to add something on this point?
No, I think I'm good at this. Is a little difficult one. Cost center versus profit center. Last panel was also difficult one. Diversity versus, in fact, one of the ladies said that I want to hire an IT head because female folks are good at visualizing something, something, something. So these are very difficult questions like how to reduce poverty. And in economics, these are called wicked problems. There's a concept of, in economics, if you read about it, there's no solution to it. So I don't know about cost center, profit center. I think every piece of the puzzle has its own place. Now, I was looking at this light for a long time because I really liked it. So I'm sure it's costly. I'm sure it's getting some energy out of this. I'm sure there was if they're given a chance, they can replace it with more LED efficient light and a small light. But this is what it is, right? There's a reason of it. Hence, I don't know whether I can earn money for my company. I don't know. But yes, I can make my company a good place to work with. Yes, for sure. And I think that's my mandate. And that's a little bit controversial take because there are a lot of used to HR folks and a lot of other folks had said, you have to have that spot on the table and you have to think through like a CFO things. Then if I need to think like a CFO thing, CFO क्या करेगा? फिर तो CFO and CHRO मैं ही हो जाता हूँ. अच्छा एक cost बचेगी मेरी 1 CR का CFO गिरेगा ना मेरे को in Mumbai. So I come from Mumbai, so get it. So then I'll become a CFO and CHRO of a Zebpay, in my view. So that's a little bit of different take, but yeah, these are difficult questions to answer. Typically, I don't answer these things, but yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you talk about a cost center, profit center kind of a thing, maybe we are not directly impacting the profitability of the organization, but indirectly, I think it's a huge contribution that goes in from the HRs.
The attrition thing that you mentioned.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. And I think some of the, I'm going to link it to AI. So today, if you look at, HRs call themselves as very strategic. But honestly speaking, they are more 60 to 70% operational, and maybe 30 to 40% is when they are really doing advisory, strategic, business-related outcomes. But with AI, I think there is scope for HR also to become strategic in a way, because most of the operational will be taken over by AI. So let's say around 50 to 60%, our operational task goes to AI, which means we have more space, leverage that opportunity to be more focused with the business. So let me give you an example. So let's say we can be participating in some of the client meetings, which gives us a complete overall picture of what kind of workforce the clients are looking at, what is the kind of skills that the client is looking at, what are the softer aspects of human that they're looking at, right? And we can go back to the market and look for those kind of choices and have better alignment of the skill versus people in the organization. So I think we are moving towards a strategic role. We call ourselves strategic, yes, at certain level, yes, it is. But at certain levels, it can become, there's a lot more scope.
Okay.
So I cannot stop myself to answer on this because this prompting me to do more. And this is very interesting topic. Little deviating from this thing, but it is important for the community to know here. It depends on you, how important you want to become. See, the very good example is every organization is transforming today. Not even a single organization can say we are static. So it is dependent on you that whether you want to give this autonomy to decide your own business guys to decide that how do you want to shape up this organization, or as an HR team you want to kind of take a one step ahead on this, that yes, this is my organization is transforming into a high performing organization or a high tech organization or a deep tech organization. What are the skills? What are the changes? What are the talent I require for this? How will I strategize my talent hiring strategies? How will I kind of strategize my upskilling and the cross-skilling in the strat? So it is huge thing when you can say operationally it's not like no more HR function is no more in my opinion, this will all replace. That managing your performance management, KPIs and all this will all vanish in next 4 or 5 years time.
Okay.
So it is more about strategically thinking that how well you are placing your transformation of the organization and supporting there in that transformation. So that is a very important block which HR fills up. And if you're able to fill up that block, nobody will ask you this question, you're a profit center or a cost center.
Oh, exactly. Okay. So, before I come to the next question with the panelists, anyone from the audience would like to ask anything of our panelists? Anyone? Okay. So I'll come to the next question to all our panelists. Again, from a strategic and operational point of view, what has been the issues, or we discussed some of the challenges that we faced. So that is one part, and more important. One is from a HR or an employer perspective, you are doing something. But how has been the reception when we are talking about these hybrid workforce among those employees? How has the reception been, especially in the last 3-4 years, if we may say, and what role has the cloud HR played, or if I may say, the reception to the cloud HR adoption? Maybe we can start from you there side, Preeti.
Honestly, it's not been easy. While we say that people are working hybrid, it's very difficult to measure productivity. We don't know. Sometimes there's new culture evolving because of this flexibility. Like there is a constant need felt by the managers that can people come on camera? A simple example, right? We don't know whether they are working, they're not working. Sometimes you would have seen when you get on a Teams or a Zoom meeting, the meeting is over, but there are two people still sitting there, right? So we clearly understand that people are really not focusing what's going on when they are behind the camera. So sometimes a new culture is coming up on meetings which are like with smaller audience, team meetings, or one-on-one, we should come on camera. So I think this flexibility part is still evolving. New cultures are coming in, and I think the workforce is getting more and more difficult. Let's say, for example, when we have, at least when we say hybrid, we do expect people to come to office whenever there is a particular meeting, like a town hall or a all hands or a visitor coming in from other geographies. We do expect that. But we notice that some of them very conveniently say, no, we're working hybrid. But people fail to understand that this is not a remote role. This is a hybrid role where there is an expectancy that, people do turn up when there is a need. So the difficulties and challenges that HR have is, how do we then get these workforce, how do we really evaluate them? There are biases which are coming up because of that, where managers are thinking whether to promote or not, where this person deserves a promotion or not, because managers are, what they're seeing in office space or what they're seeing face to face is what they believe that, okay, this guy deserves a promotion. This guy hardly turns up. This guy hardly, is seen on camera. So there are a lot of biases which are also coming up. So it's not easy to measure this flexibility in the environment where we are looking at today from the hybrid space. And it is taking a toll on HR as well. How do we come up with different mechanisms and measurements and support managers and leaders in this area?
How are the employees reacting?
Employees are, some of them are stubborn, very clear. I will not come to office. This is a remote organization, hybrid company. I will continue to work from wherever I am. As long as I'm performing, I should not be questioned. But at the same time, the expectation that I should be promoted after 2 years, 3 years. And I also see a kind of a resistance in terms of some of the engagement activities that we conduct. They do not want to attend that. So we're seeing that they're becoming more and more in isolation. And our rate of, the one-on-one help that we have in terms of counseling, the rate has actually gone up since 2020. It's earlier it was probably just 2%. Now it is showing as 22%. So it has taken a toll, on the employees as well. But some of them have been very kind enough. They do come to office when there is a need, when there is a requirement, when there's an expectation. But such employees are, I would say, rare. More or less, people are very comfortable working from wherever they are. So hybrid has its own challenges from the employee's perspective as well as much as for the HR.
So reverse order, we can say that every silver lining will have a dark cloud also behind it. Okay, Abhishek, yeah.
I think if the question that I understood was the cloud HR implementation, it's
One, from the implementation
yeah,
perspective,
implementation
both
and the
from a
reception point of view.
strategic and operational
Sure.
point of view, your challenges and employee
Reception point
terms
of view.
reception.
Correct. So, in fact, I sort of got through this entire cycle, and there were challenges, no doubt about it. But as I said earlier, also, we all want our life to be easy. I think that's very basic human nature. So, if you are really making life easy for the employees, I think they will come and adopt the solution that you are proposing. So in fact, if I can show them where's the money or what's in for them when I'm implementing an external HR system, which was not there, it's not that as if life was not going on, right? Life was going on before a Keka or a success factor or a Darwin box for that matter. But how can the life for them change? How can life of a manager change while evaluating the performance of their employees, of their team members per se? So for me, I think what's in for me factor is very, very important. And as I rightly said, the secure-in or the buy-in for leadership is very important. And if you're having these two things in place, the likelihood of reception goes very high. There's always a 1%, 2%, 3% people who will also whine in कि अरे ये क्या ला दिया, पहले ही ठीक था, Excel भर के भेज देता था, हो जाता था. Now there is a system, the entire graph is there, I need to click, I need to log in. But largely more than 90% population are pretty happy because the kind of change management process that we have adopted through in Zebpay, at least I can say. And I believe change management, and I think somebody was also, I think Gaurav was alluding to, the change management is the key. Whatever you are telling, whatever you are saying, I think change management is absolutely the key. If you can cushion the change, the adoption becomes high. And if you really want to push it through like my way or highway, because I, as a head of HR, decided something, because I had some wins and fancies, and I thought we should have it. And फिर उसके बाद then it's very, very difficult.
Okay. Yes, Gaurav.
Okay, so I always have some different thoughts on everything.
Sure.
But the thing is, if you ask me, there is a cloud solution available, we can sort out your problem. No. And adoption due to that will become very different. Why? Because we are trying to adopt an application or a solution which is universal, but my organization behavior and the culture is different. So trying to match up 2-3 things there. So if you are talking about looking at the day-to-day operations and the transactional work, every solution is good solution today. In that, adaptability will not be, or this will not be a problem, or else in the maybe bringing it on board, that solution will not be an issue, because that's a transactional thing. If you're trying to sort out and trying to resolve a problem of engagement today, then it is a problem. And the same thing goes with the adoption rate also. So if it is transactional work, if I have to use a HR solution for my leave management system, if they have attendance system, PFMS, KPI guidelines and all that stuff, some birthday wishes and all that, yeah, transactional work is okay. Everybody understand. I think you guys will agree with this fact that this is adopted and people have to obviously go to the tool, apply for the leave and get it approved. That's the reality of life. So adoption will definitely there because you're not giving them space there. But if you give them a choice, I give an example like, I have a tool where if the journey of a candidate starting from the recruitment person, I'm saying, journey starts from the resume and it has to end with the offer letter. The tool is designed in such a way that if I break any of the steps in between, I cannot release the offer. But you know their managers, right? You ask them to, you send a link for the feedback for that candidate. And 50%, believe me, I'm an AI company. 50% of the people still want to write an email about it. I find the candidate suitable. One line. Okay, please go ahead with the offer. Okay? Please, can you, my team or entire TA team is behind that person. Can you just put this into the tool? Or can you put this from the back end, please? You will not believe 70% of the time my team has to put it from the back end because I have to release the offer. Okay? So adaptability and all depends on that because no tools gives me this flexibility that if I break this chain of feedback, can I still release the offer? I can tell you that very less will offer this. Now adaptability is engagement. So if you are expecting that your adaptability has to turn into an engagement, then build a platform which is like Instagram. If you have more engagement, you need to put the content also the same way. Because the problem is, you currently also see yours and mine. When I see that the content is limited on our platform in HR Cloud, it is so limited that we can't drive the traffic over there. It is very limited. Either it is transactional and it is very limited in terms of some information or some update. It's hardly an engagement. So adaptability is an issue. It will remain an issue till the time we improvise on our content, which is we are providing on that platform. If we improvise on the content, it is engaging content. And in the future, if let's say you ask me about my future, I would all integrate the travel into one thing. I will integrate the cab bookings into it. I'll integrate my lunch bookings into it. I'll integrate everything so that the people come on that platform. They have to do this everything and they check it out.
I'll come to that part later. So one nice conundrum that you left. So before I come to the future, the last round, an open question. I understand for the transactional nature, the adaptability is higher because that's accepted. But when the nature of engagement changes, and all three of you can answer, obviously the younger generation, which are more coming into the workforce and where the tech savviness is much higher. So how are they helping in enhancing this engagement quotient, if I may say? Anyone can.
Can you elaborate this? Like you're asking that how these Gen Zs
How
and millennials are adopting it?
Is the acceptability higher among the younger generation, and how are they influencing the overall?
Definitely high, because they're the people who live and breathe apps, you know. So if you don't have, I'll just give you an example. It's like today, maybe a generation of baby boomers, just call it that word, and you tell them that we don't have coffee in office. There'll be a reaction from their side. Wow, you don't have coffee? It means it's an entitlement. So sometimes, and am I supposed to provide coffee in the office? No. But it has become an entitlement in the mind of the people that if I am in some office, there will be a coffee machine somewhere in the corner. So same thing, it's in the mind of the Gen Zs and the millennials, it's an entitlement that if you don't have a tool like this where they can work on the app through their mobile phone, they'll say you are a third generation somewhere like Intel third generation processor, and I need the 7th generation or 8th generation processor. So adaptability has to be high, little bit for them.
I just want to add to that. Very well said, Gaurav. Just last week, my son had a maths exam, so he was studying, and on the side, I just happened to sneeze. So he tells me, "Can you sneeze digitally?" I was like taken aback. Gen Alpha is thinking only digital. They are absolutely with the technology, and it is we who will be lost if we do not upgrade ourselves, upskill ourselves. I think if you look at the workforce today, it's all about being digital. It's all about adapting and changing and growing. Some of the people in organizations, when we say are laid off or are probably no longer required, like role redundancies, it's probably only because they've not been able to upscale or upskill themselves, right? So I think this is a time, an era where we have to move with the changes in technology, adapt and adopt all of them. And HR is also focusing on some of these technologies. When we talk about cloud HR, a lot of these technologies we are adopting. And not just that, we're using varied kind of tools to do data analytics, BI indexes and all of that, so that we stay ahead in business. So I think adopting the technology is a must.
Okay. So the last round, this time start with Gaurav. Now I'll ask you to do that crystal ball gazing. So you don the hat for the future. Where do you see the evolution of cloud HR? And more importantly, as an HR leader, what should you be prepared for?
So I already told you something about it, that the cloud HR solutions have to evolve very, very fast now. They all are claiming that there's artificial intelligence clubbed in, but this all machine learning. So artificial intelligence is very different. You know, it's not about machine learning. That is machine learning, then Amazon and Myntra were using it 6, 7, 8 years, 9 years back. They were popping up. They could you shop it up and all the stuff. Even like your grocery shopping, everything was there popping up. This is the last list and all. You want to club in the basket and all. They were all using machine learnings. It is very different. If we want to evolve as the right solution for the evolving talent what we have and the industry we have, I think the cloud HR industry has to grace that thing with their speed as well as the flexibility they provide in their solutions, which is not there. I don't see that there. And the same problem will still be there, that this cloud HR solution will become like a side tool for us, which is today as well. And be practical. How many today also, all of you being an HR tool also, you write your message on WhatsApp to your manager, can I take a leave, or an email to them, and then post that you get it approved email on that. So this is how our mindset is working today. Like it is not, why we are not like on time, just in time, that my leave approval is gone there. He can reject, approve, or whatever it is. So still we have not evolved as people, where those who are handling those population, those who's handling is cloud HR and providing cloud. It's entire ecosystem which needs to change, which is not up to the mark. Actually, the future has to be like one solution, one app for everything. If I need to drive my traffic, I would visualize that there is an AI agent working for me, that I'm going to book a cab on a Ola, Uber. It goes through my HR app. If I'm sitting in office, I have an office account or something. Why do I need to provide taken permission from admin and all? It automatically goes to the admin. Everything goes. I'm just trying to visualize that, right?
Okay.
And if I have to order lunch when I'm in office, everything goes. Do you need the lunch now? You not brought it lunch for your this thing today at the home? Okay. Do you want me to order the lunch for you? That is the app which I'm visualizing as cloud HR for my people as engagement. When you see that engagement level, that's the future.
Operational automation, if I may say, complete.
Operational engagement today, day-to-day problem. If I'm not able to solve the day-to-day issues for my people, I cannot engage them. And cloud HR has a lot of scope there. They can do a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Abhishek, your future.
I think pretty similar, but I think a lot of it is already there. I guess probably we need to look around, because I'm using it right now in all those cloud HR things. It's helping me a lot. I think I have this one app and people are using it. I don't know, but my managers are giving me feedback on the app, because everyone is using app right now. My father, who's a 62 years old, who was in Delhi for many years of time, he's a government servant, senior government civil servant, and he is on Instagram. He uses Facebook, and our entire family, and I got to know from his account actually that our chacha, tayas, and who is not on the app. So now he just WhatsApp me sometime that, my son is arrived from the school, he is picked up. So for me, I think, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking in a different directions, but for me, I think it's very, very simple. The app is there, and my cloud HR at least is helping me in a lot of ways. I can navigate through a lot of stuff. The next step that I am looking at particularly is basically where my HR, the cloud HR become a digital concierge in a way, and it can give me, when I say me, the employees, a lot of insights on the talent or the career movements as well. So one is the transactional part, which is like cab booking, lunches and leaves and all that stuff, which is right now is happening as we speak. The second part, which AI they will adopt, I'm sure, because I'm in touch with a lot of these people, that now they are adopting a lot of AI, where I can have those kind of as an employee, I can have a lot of inputs from the AI HR system that this can be my next career move, or this should be my next career move rather. So it can become a digital enabler for me rather than a transactional stuff. This is what I believe. And yeah, I think we're going in a great direction. And in my view, this is the future. Adoption is great. Even the Gen Z or the Gen X or Y or whatever we say it, they're all on this bandwagon. And future seems very bright to me, at least. Coming from a very tech heavy product organization,
True.
Probably this kind of an element that I'm working with. But yeah, this is what I believe.
In the context of today's, the topic that we have, I think cloud HR is playing a very vital role in one area specifically, which is learning and development. Irrespective of where the people are across the globe, there's something called as individual development plan, which every manager can put and link through the intranet, as well as the outside external integration of learning platforms. I think this is giving a crucial upliftment to upskilling people individually. They have an individual career path, they have an individual level to grow into a particular role, into a particular maybe a project related assignment. So I think somewhere everybody is having a individual career path to grow because of the LMS platforms and integration with the external platforms as well. So I think this is the way to go. Cloud HR is the way to go, and the more sooner the HRs adopt to it and make it like a culture in the organization, the more beneficial it will be for the organization to scale up and move to the next level.
So the last point here is the cloud HR currently, I agree with Abhishek and Preeti, is well equipped to handle the external face of it.
True.
But the inputs are coming from the manual interface. That's a problem. So when you say IDPs, and Abhishek was talking about giving a solution on the competencies, the kind of career paths and all, everything is available today. The two things, the problem which cloud HR is not able to solve is the integration of the different apps and the different environment which you have, as the ChatGPT is able to do that. So it picks up like a lot of stuff from there. The cloud HR is not able to do that in terms of picking up the different integrations which are available on the cloud. That's one. Second is the input is coming from the manual intervention by a manager or someone like anybody else. When it is dependent on the manual intervention, in my opinion, the cloud HR can do a better job by not taking the manual intervention only, but by giving some behavioral interpreters or maybe a daily task or whatever you do, the way you work, the way you are managing your time, other things and all the stuff, the activities you are performing every day, it collects some of the intelligence from there and then feeds in that intelligence to the cloud HR system. Then it automatically pops up, right? Okay, take an example like recently Microsoft has started doing that with the how do you manage your time, and this is how you're spending your time and all the stuff, more on the time on emails, this much percentage of time. So this is an input which has been artificially intelligently done. But currently the cloud HR inputs are being managed through manual intervention a lot. I think that needs to eliminate that manual intervention. If they do that, their applications are well equipped to handle the external face which is there. So that's one important, I think they need to improve.
Okay, great. Thanks. To summing up, I'll say what the panel sort of conquered was that while cloud HR has become an hygiene and mainstream, the nature of its reception amongst the hybrid workforce itself is still evolving, and more importantly, looking ahead, one, the operational automation has to be there. There has to be more interaction between the external and the internal interface. It's still not that integration has not reached to that desired level. More manual intervention is happening while automation will overcome that. There was a mention about a digital concierge kind of environment where it's more a cloud HR can more step in as a career pathfinder. The evolution, interesting part, the evolution of LMS systems into the fold that has integrated better, and we can look forward to it in the near future. Thanks to all the panelists for an interactive session. Before we conclude, I'd like to hand it over to Ananya for the next phase.
Thank you to all the panelists and to Rajneesh sir. I would request him to felicitate our speakers with a token of gratitude. Thank you, sir, and thank you to all the speakers.